Hi everyone, welcome back to Leigh in Psychotherapy. Today I want to talk about Covid-19, this awful lockdown situation that we've been in now for over 2 months. I'm not sure about you, but it's really getting to me. It doesn't suit the way that I like to live. I just want to share with you 4 things that are really helping me through it. And these are things that I use in my own life anyway. Have done for many years since first struggling with depression when I was in my late teens. But I find that these things, and they are really things to practice, on a daily basis. They really help me get through it. So I thought I'd share them with you. Now, of course, because they are things that work for me, they may not necessarily work for you, and that's okay. That's fine. Well, the first one is routine. Pay attention to your routine, and I won't go too much into sleep, exercise, and eating because the literature and the research is pretty conclusive on the effects that these have on our mental health, positively. So I don't really need to kind of spend too much time on those, but really things that are going to get you in touch with yourself. So that project that you've wanted to do, maybe take advantage of having more time now, if you're not at work, to complete this project or to start something that you've been meaning to start. I find that I spend a lot of time meditating these days, and I find that when I start to get anxious with what's going on, that really helps me. It really kind of centers me, grounds me, and it's something I look forward to. That's the thing about a routine. It can bring meaning to our lives. Viktor Frankl, a famous Austrian neurologist, in the Second World War, he was put into Auschwitz concentration camp. He was Jewish, and he quickly realized that the prisoners of war that survived the experience were those that could make meaning from their suffering, so put some kind of meaning on their suffering, and those who couldn't, they perished quite quickly. And really, to a lesser extent, because obviously we're not in a war now, but this is definitely an unprecedented time. It's all about trying to use this suffering that we're all going through to some good, to make some meaning from it. And it's hard, it's not easy at all, but routine really helps with that. The way that I really structure my routine is, I'm not sure if any of you are old enough to remember Bucks Fizz. They were like a kind of a novelty band that they won the Eurovision Song Contest. And one of the lines from their songs went, first you got to speed it up, then you slow it down. So that really is a rule that I apply to my routine. So the morning's all about being active, doing things that are going to really kind of spend that energy. So it might be going for a walk or a run and just working on something, being active. And then it's equally important, I find, as the day moves on towards the evening, to kind of slow it down, to wind it down, and use that time to reflect, meditate, something that's going to give you some kind of balance. I think it's really important. So the second point would be stay connected. One of the things I found quite quickly when this lockdown started was that I really miss people. I really miss these people that up until the lockdown I was seeing weekly, sometimes twice a week, 3 times a week. I really miss these relationships, and of course we didn't know at that point, and we still don't really, how long this is going on for. So potentially we're not going to see these people again for quite a while, and to some degree, technology helps with that. We can, at a touch of a button, we can talk to people the other side of the world, but there really isn't any substitute in my mind for physical connection. To be with someone in a cafe or in a bar or whatever it is, really kind of talking and sharing ideas. And in terms of mental health, one of the really important things about staying connected with the world is that it really counters this tendency that we all have to some degree to really get lost in our own head. One of the things that I found when I was very young, when I had depression for the first time, I'd withdraw, as most people do in depression when they first have it. The urge is just to withdraw from everyone. What happens when we do that is that fantasy takes over, and we get ideas about the world that may or may not be true, but we can't reality test them with anybody else because we're just in our own head, and this really isn't good for anyone. So this is one of the really important things about, aside from the fact that we all need relationships anyway. Certain parts of the brain get lit up when we talk to people, when we feel close to people. There really is this thing about it keeps us out of too much time in our own head. Being with others and talking to others, it really modifies these ideas about the world that we have that can really become one-sided. It really kind of gives us that balance. So suggestion number 3 would be, as much as you can, find your way into nature, obviously weather permitting. But there's something about being in nature that really gives this sense of freedom. It does for me, and relaxation, and just being at one with everything, being connected with everything. And also, there are many times in my life where I've wrestled with a problem, and it feels to me that this problem, whatever it has been at the time, is so big that the whole world's affected by it. You know, that everyone's thinking about it, and that the whole world kind of depends on this thing that I'm grappling with. And it's not until I really get into nature, whether it's the side of a stream or even a lake or in the woods, then you realise how indifferent nature is to your problem. How nature's just doing what it did for eons before we arrived, and what it's going to do for eons after we've gone. And there's something about that really affords us this perspective, if we can really be attuned to it. Sure, the thing that we're grappling with is still a problem for us, but we really realise that the rest of the world, the natural world anyway, is really unaffected by it. So as much as we can, I think it's a really good idea to get in nature, to get that perspective, to get that sense of being connected, and that alone should give us some perspective that everything changes and nothing stays the same, and the indifferent natural world that we live in is still doing its thing. So lastly, and really importantly, accept whatever's coming up for you. Accept your feelings. This is unprecedented. There's nothing like this happened in most of our lifetimes. So really, in terms of feelings, anything's okay. I've gone from feeling quite depressed about it to feeling anxious to back to depressed, and then doing the things that I've just been mentioning, getting to a point where I feel okay about it, and then I get anxious again. And I realise that these feelings are fine, because none of us knew what was coming, and there's no textbook, there's no guideline on how to handle this thing. So really just try and be okay with whatever your feelings are. And some feelings are difficult. I spoke to clients that feel anxious about it, some feel guilty about it, as if they had some hand in causing it. Some clients are accepting these feelings, but some really aren't. And this lack of acceptance, for what's going on in them, is really causing further trouble for them. And things that I mentioned in the first point, so meditation can help with this, just noticing feelings rather than engaging with them, rather than judging them, just trying to notice them, and know that they will pass, as will this situation. But it's hard to do. I'm not suggesting it's easy to just notice our feelings, because there are some feelings that are just damn hard to be with. But it's good to practice this if we can. So I hope you've enjoyed this video. So 4 points really, that if we practice them, hopefully we can make this time more bearable for ourselves. So any comments, any questions, feel free to comment below, and subscribe, and looking forward to seeing you in the next one. Thanks for watching.